This is Hardrocker Highlights from the King Center. We're in the office of Athletic Director Dr. Dick Kaiser as we get set to talk about a few items concerning Hardrocker athletics here on Hardrocker Highlights. And Dick, the first thing, of course, is a lot of people asking the questions about the NCAA transition, and that kind of bring us an up-to-date summary of where we are right now.
Well, we are in candidacy year one, and that means that we obviously were admitted and we're going through all the paperwork. There are two major papers, information pieces that we have to provide for the NCAA by the June 1st. One of them is called the Institutional Self-Study Guide, and that is a very thorough and very comprehensive piece of information that involves the whole campus and involves a variety of individuals and a variety of sources on campus to complete. And then also the end of the year report, which will be about 150 to 200 pages by the time it's done. So as the sports wind down, as you indicated, my opportunities to get out and see a lot of things decrease because this is crunch time for us and we have to complete those. We also did a visit to the Colorado School of Mines, which was a mandatory NCAA visit, and there were 7 or 8 of us that went. That was an exciting visit for us, and we were able to view a lot of things that are similar to us and also that are very, very different. Overall, we're on progress, and we're online to move towards candidacy year number 2. As it relates to conference, as many people know, the RMAC, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, did not choose to invite us at this time. So we are looking at the potential of being an independent for anywhere from 1 to 2 or possibly even longer as it relates to years. We have basically 3 options as it relates to conference affiliation within Division II. One is to remain an independent and schedule as many and as often as we can the various teams within the central region of Division II. The other one would be to wait and hope that one of the conferences, either the Northern Sun or the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, open up the position and the topography and the geographics of several schools change, and maybe we get an invitation. Or the third option, which we are exploring in significant fashion right now, is the possibility of developing a third conference in the central region, which would be more in the middle of the 2 current conferences in the central region, with the Northern Sun being primarily a Minnesota-based conference, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference being primarily a Colorado and New Mexico, and the possibility of a third conference being located in the Dakotas. It's a very real thing where the moratorium looked like it was going to last till 2013 on new conferences. It appears that will be lifted as early as December of this year. So we have surveyed all of the possible institutions that might be interested. We're waiting for their replies, and we're hopeful that we will get some interest as to the possibility of forming a third conference. So we're moving straight ahead. We're not letting the setback of not being invited into the RMAC or the Northern Sun set us back, and we're very ambitious and working hard to make sure that our candidacy year 2 opportunity comes forward and we continue on the progress.
You know, Dick, when the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference announced the 3 schools that they had invited, everybody assumed that those 3 schools then would go right in. Is there a chance or a probability that, and not even considering what that would mean for the School of Mines, but is it an automatic that when a school is invited that they accept the invitation?
Not necessarily, and particularly the 3 institutions that were invited by the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Black Hills State obviously is most anxious probably to become a member of the RMAC because that would give them a conference affiliation, although they still have to receive final approval from the Board of Regents. Colorado College is a Division III institution with a Division I hockey program, and they haven't even started the process of applying for Division II membership, and so therefore that would be a minimal of 3 to 4 years out. And then the third school, which was Eastern New Mexico, are current members of the Lone Star, And in looking at what they have to do, their distances and their opportunities for travel will actually increase by going into the RMAC rather than decrease as compared to the Lone Star Conference. Now, they might be able to be a little bit more competitive, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to make a choice. So the bottom line is the three institutions have until the middle of May, I think it's May 15th, to determine whether they're going to accept the invitation to look at the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. If they choose not to, then the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference has to make a decision of whether they'll just go with who's invited and those that accept, or will they open up the opportunities for other institutions, or exactly what. So there's no guarantees whatsoever, and that's what we're hopeful is that some institution may or may not choose to go into the RMAC, and that they will possibly look at us. If they don't, we're still proceeding on.
And talk a little bit about the possibilities of the DAC being able to go one more year, with the possibility of the School of Mines being involved for one more year in that league.
The fourth option, obviously, for us as we begin to look at our opportunities is to discuss and have discussions and see if the DAC, the Dakota Athletic Conference, would support a waiver of South Dakota School of Mines to the NEI on a bylaw that was legislated against second-year participation as an institution that had submitted their papers to the NCAA. We have had discussions, and when I say we, Dr. Wharton and I have had discussions with President Jim Carr of the NEI. He's very aware of it. We've also had discussions with the Dakota Athletic Conference, and they are very supportive. So we are in the process of submitting a letter to the Dakota Athletic Conference to see if, at least for one more year, the Dakota Athletic Conference would support a waiver that would allow South Dakota School of Mines to not only continue its NCAA process, but also compete in the NEI. That would waiver request would have to be granted by the national, the NAC at the NEI level, which is the National Athletic Council. That would go to a vote as early as April, but most likely in June. If that process were to occur, if they were to grant it, then we would remain members of the DAC for at least one more year and continue on our NCAA opportunities.
I want to go back just for wrapping things up here. One thing that you mentioned a moment ago, and I want to follow up on, that you seem to indicate that the NCAA may shorten the length of the moratorium on new conferences. Any particular reason why they may reconsider that?
The NCAA has taken a close look at the growth of Division II, and what they found is that the growth is outnumbered the total opportunities that are currently available in Division II. And so the Administrative Council of the NCAA has revisited the moratorium and realized that it's probably not in the best interest of the NCAA to maintain a moratorium. And it's also very clear that the growth of the NCAA Division II is going to take the total number of conferences beyond 24, which had been set as the maximum. There's already 23, and as the NCAA Division II continues to grow to potentially as high as 350 members, it's just not feasible that only 24 conferences would exist. So in discussions with the NCAA, they have indicated that it's very clear and most probable that that moratorium would be lifted as early as December of 2011.
Do you think that would then generate a little bit more interest in some schools that might look at forming a new league if they know that the process could be shortened?
I definitely believe so, and that was part of the initial letter that I sent out to the various institutions that potentially could be members of this third conference, is that the process is going to be shortened. It's been indicated not only through the conversations that I've had with the NCAA, but also in publications throughout the various media. So it's a very real thing, and by allowing the institutions to form a third conference in a much quicker format rather than having to wait until 2013 will definitely expedite and hopefully enhance the opportunities for people to take a look at it.
Dick Kaiser, the athletic director here at the School of Mines, updating us with the very latest information as the Hardrocker athletic program continues its transition to NCAA Division II. Thanks for watching. This is Tom Rudebusch for Dick Kaiser, and this is Hardrocker Highlights.